Okay, so I am working on my Orion figure, and I have him in Poser now to set up groups, and I thought I would show people how to work with the grouping tool, since it seems to be a question that comes up a lot. So over here, your setup might be different, but I have my editing tools over here on the right of the screen. And right here, the little tick box with the dot in the middle, it says the grouping tool. Your editing tools are probably over here somewhere in the the default Poser layout. This is Poser Pro 2014. Actually, no, this is Poser Pro Game Dev. But it's pretty much the same in 2014 or Poser 11 Pro. I haven't used Poser 11 or Poser 10. The features are more advanced, but I'm pretty sure the grouping tool is the same in all of them from version 10 up. Okay, so you click on this button here. It's the group editor. And immediately your figure turns like a gray color. And you can choose how you want it to display over here. The best one, for me anyway, the best one I have found that works when using the grouping tool is the hidden line. And that way everything is darker. It's kind of grayed out, but you have the dark lines around your polygons. So you zoom in here, not on his crotch. And if you look, you can select. It's a lot easier to see what polygons you're selecting. Okay, so if you go to wireframe, then you can't really see, you just see an outline of the polygons. That you're not going to see the polygons at all, just whatever you've selected will turn into a red square. This one, the lit wireframe, I don't really see why you would want to use that one in grouping tool, but okay. Same with that one and that one. These are all seeming pretty much pointless for the grouping tool. That's the same as the silhouette. Cartoon with line is the same. This one is not really going to do you any good. This one, again, not really going to do you any good. And this one's not going to do you any good. So the best one is the wireframe, the hidden line. Control 4 if you're on a PC. I'm on a PC. Okay, so move all that now to create a new group. It's pretty simple. You just hit the new group button and you type in something like head and you click OK. And then here's your selection tools. It's the plus and the minus. Plus, you add things by clicking, or you can drag. And then the minus removes things by dragging or by clicking on each of the red ones. And if it's red, then that means that it's going to be part of your group. Okay? So you can also use, in this little drop down menu, you can use the marquee selection, or you can use draw. If you go to draw, it's marquee by default. It's always going to be the dotted box by default. But if you click the draw, then you can drag your mouse, or pen works too. If you have a pen tablet, you can draw your mouse over whatever you need to select. And I mean, it comes in handy sometimes, but usually I just keep it on marquee. And I use the mouse to select, or I use, that way you can select, you know, larger areas at a time instead of having to click on each polygon at a, you know, one at a time. It can be kind of a pain after a while. So hit. Now, the quicker way to do this, instead of having to select each polygon individually, is that once you get an area selected, just hit your plus key and it'll grow your selection. And the same with the minus. If you hit minus, it'll shrink your selection. Plus, it'll grow it. Minus, plus, minus, plus. Okay. And if you don't want it to go down that far, then you want to try to keep it out of the region that you're going to be using for other groups. And to make life even more easy, once you've got, you know, most of your area selected that you need selected, you can come to the Add menu. The Add menu has a drop down. And if you come down to Mirror Add, then you can choose, if you're working on the left side or the right side like I'm doing, which is actually the left side of your screen, but it's right of the model, that would be the negative X. So you can hit negative X to positive X, and it'll mirror your selection over. See? And then you can continue hitting the grow selection. Now, sometimes when you're working on this, the one other display type that does come in handy is the wireframe. Now, even though you can only see which polygons are selected by their outline, you can still get a good idea. Like if you see any dark areas in there, then that means it's not selected. So if for some reason you need to see through the model, which you tend to need to at times, then you can make sure you're on plus, and you can drag a box this way. And anything in wireframe, anything that is within the vicinity of inside that box, will be selected through the model. So it's kind of, it comes in handy. It's kind of like turning backface culling on and off in a way, sorta. But Poser doesn't have backface culling. So select it like that. I don't think it does. I've never seen it. Anyway. And then, you know, when you're done with that, switch back to this one and just hit the positive to get everything selected. And then once you've got like a whole area that you need selected and you've gone past your border that you want to set, you can hit the minus. Well, you can hit the minus, and usually, of course, the inside of the mouth on this model is all one piece, so that's why the lips are coming back out. But anyway, normally once you've closed an area with the red, once you've selected all an area, the entire area is enclosed in red. That means it's selected. And you hit the minus, then it'll only shrink from the border of your selected polygons. I think I explained that right. Hope it makes sense. Okay. So Another thing you can do to make it faster and easier on yourself, I already have some groups set up for his eyes and his eyelashes and all that stuff. So instead of having to come in here and select all of that stuff again, I can do add by group or by material. And if I've already got the material zone set up, I can select any one of these and add it to my group. So right here I'm going to select lashes for the eyelashes. So just select that and it selects the lashes. And that's it. And then to make a new group, well actually I haven't finished the head group yet. But that's actually a good way for me to show another option here. Hit new group, neck. Okay, now it's like nothing is selected because this is a new group. So come here. I'm already at 11 minutes, but that's fine. Come here. Select some of the polys for the neck that you need. I'm not sure exactly how far up I'll go with the neck, but this looks good for now. Okay, so I've got all these selected. I'm going to come over here and hit mirror. Mirror negative X to positive X. Got that group selected. Well, I didn't get the back, so let's do the back real quick. Mirror one more time. Negative X to positive X just to get that last row. And then what I can do is come to the remove menu and hit group. And since I've already got the head selected, wait, no, I don't want to do it that way. I'm sorry, scratch that. I've selected the neck. I was doing it reverse. So I've selected the neck, so go back to head group. Okay. And then I go to the remove. And I hit group, neck. And it removes all the polygons that are in the neck, without me having to go back and manually deselect them. I'm not sure what shrink and grow. Shrink, mirror. You can do mirroring here too. Invert would be, I'm not going to hit that right now, but it's kind of self-explanatory. Okay, and then now it will show you your non-grouped. If you check this box, it will show non-grouped polygons, his lips, and probably the inside of his mouth. And all of the rest of him I ain't grouped. Alright, so you show multi-grouped. And that just means his eyelashes are grouped, but that's because I have groups that I set up for materials. And another hold on. Okay, so another way to make grouping life a little easier. New group. Let's say R shoulder. Okay. So I'm going to select everything that I want for the shoulder. I should have made that collar, but we'll do shoulder for now. It's fine. So let's add all the polys for the shoulder that I want in here. I mean, this is, other people use UV Mapper and Blender and other programs to do their grouping, because they claim that the grouping tool in Poser is so much of a pain to use. But really, for me, it's the easiest, because I mean, I can group it in ZBrush if I wanted to, but then I'd have to come into Poser and go through and rename all the groups that I created in ZBrush and then delete all those groups. And it's just, I mean, why do all that when I still have to select individual polygons in whatever app that I'm using to group it? Might as well just do it in Poser. Now, if you're using an older version of Poser, then I can see maybe you want to use something that's a little easier to deal with, but they've made the grouping tool a lot better in the last, I think it was Poser10 that got the upgrades to the grouping tool, and they made it so much easier to deal with. Okay, so I've got the shoulder selected. Now, I'm going to create a new group. This just makes it faster. It's kind of like rigging, when you build the rig for the one side of the model, and then you can mirror it over to the other side. It's the same with grouping. You can build all your groups on one side of the model. You know, all the arm and all the leg and the toes and fingers and all that stuff. And you only have to do it on one side, because then you come in and you create your group. Let's hit new group. And we'll say L shoulder. SHLDR. Hit OK. Instead of having to select each one and make sure you get the borders exactly right from side to side, all you got to do is hit Add Group R Shoulder, and you've got those polys selected for the shoulder. All of that is in the L shoulder now. And then you hit Add, or you can go Modify. But yeah, I just use Add -X to +X, and you've got your L shoulder selected. And you come into the Remove menu, and you hit Group, and hit R shoulder again, and it removes all the polys from the right shoulder. And you're done with that group. It took 3 seconds. Okay, so another way that mirroring groups makes grouping life easier is in areas that's hard to get to, like the eyes, because the eyes are usually made of multiple layers. Like you've got that outer cornea area where it's real close. It's like it's a duplicate layer, you know. I mean, you got the shell of the eye, and you got the pupil and the iris and all that behind that. But from this angle, or from this, you know, inside Poser, the material doesn't work in the grouping tool, so you can't actually see all that unless you pull the camera in, you know, and it's kind of hard to see. It can get frustrating when you're trying to see behind some geometry that you can't see. You can use the wireframe, but then you can't actually see you can't really see what geometry. See all that stuff in there. I mean, that's a nightmare. But here, let me select. I had already set up groups, because the way that I create materials is like for the iris L, if you see that it's red highlight around there, but you can't see it from here. So you have to select it real careful. So what I do is I create a group for whatever material I want. And for this, in this case, it's the iris of the left eye, right? So I've got that. And I assigned a material. Maybe by clicking here, I'll show you that in a minute. But so you select the iris. I mean, there's a few different ways you can get to that. Like, there you go. Oh, it's gone now. Okay, so see, the iris is there. You can see it. Anyway, I've got a ring around there that I need to pull back, but okay. So on this side, I haven't done the iris yet, so I'm going to create a new group. I'm going to do iris L, so then I'm going to do new group iris R for right, and OK. Then I'm going to add group iris L, and I'm going to mirror it. And in this case, I'm going to mirror positive X to negative X, because positive is to the right of your screen. And see if I can get in there just far enough to see it with the clipping. Yeah, you can see that it's selected. And I'm going to see if it's show multi-grouped. Well, just the eyelashes still. Okay, so the iris is selected there. And now I'm going to hit Assign Material. Oh wait, no, first I'm going to remove. Since I already mirrored the group, iris L group, I'm going to remove. Did I hit there? Remove group iris L. And then I'm going to assign material. I'm going to hit a new material, which is the same as the group name, iris R, and hit OK. That way, I didn't have to fight with trying to select every polygon in there. I already did that on that side, so then I just mirrored it over on that side. And that's how you can do that. And then close. Sometimes that happens. Close the grouping tool out, and then you come into Material, and you select. I'm going to go to iris L first and hit copy. And I'm going to go to iris R and hit paste, and the material is pasted over there. Not sure why it got the pupil too, but oh, it didn't. It's just a reflection in there. So that's how you do that. Okay, so I think that's about all I wanted to say about the grouping tool. And you don't have to spawn groups and all that stuff like you used to have to do. I'm not sure if you ever really had to do that, but prior to Poser10, you might have had to. I didn't build figures for anything older than 7, so I'm not sure. But these days, you don't have to spawn props and all that. Once you've grouped your figure, you can just close the grouping tool, go back to your regular display, and you're done. You come up here and hit File, export, wavefront, OBJ, single frame, select it since he's the only thing that's in the scene, and hit OK. You get a menu. These are what I'm using right now. Include existing groups and polygon groups and preserve existing material names. That's all I've got selected for that. And I hit OK. And I choose which. I've already created these, so. Alright, Mac groups, save. Yes. And you're done. And just to test, I'll delete him from the scene. And I'll pull that one that I just exported back out, centered, place on floor, and make polys consistent. And there he is. The only thing that's kind of bugging me is that for some reason the material on my eyes is not staying transparent. But that's probably something that has to be set in the transparency. One. Oh, that was his fingernails. Cornea. And you see all my materials, everything else at least is set up. Okay, so anyway, like I said, that's the grouping tool. Hope that helped people. Maybe there'll be more people using the grouping tool than fighting with some other program. My theory is the less programs you need to use when building a model for Poser or anything else is the better. So, alright. Hope it helped. Talk at you later.